Good morning students. Welcome to SST So Simple tutorial. In the previous class we discussed many things like use of money in the transaction of commodities. We came across new terms like double coincidence of wants. We discussed modern forms of money and finally we finished with bank deposits and check. Today we will continue with the story of banks. When people deposit their money with the banks, what does the bank do with that money? Does the money lie idle with the banks? What happens to those money? So in short, we will see the mechanism that works there. As we read before, banks allow the depositors to withdraw their money when they need. So to attend to such depositors who might come to withdraw money from the bank on any given day, banks keep a small proportion of their deposits as cash with themselves. These days, banks normally keep 15% of their deposits as cash. See, all the depositors will not come at a time on the same day to withdraw the cash. So this much is normally enough to handle such depositors. What about the rest of deposits? Let us see the slide. You can see a bank in the center. To your left, you can see the depositors. These are the people who have accounts in this bank and so have deposits here. To your right, you will find borrowers. People need money for a variety of reasons. Small farmers take loans for buying seeds, fertilizers, etc. People take loans to start their business or for setting up small-scale industries. In the cities, we are all aware of car loans, housing loan, education loans, etc. Banks make use of these deposits to meet the loan requirement of these people. Thus, it mediates between those who have surplus funds, that means the depositors, and those who are in need of these funds, that means the borrowers. So now, you will be able to answer question number 3 at the end of your textbook. How do banks mediate between those who have surplus money and those who need money? Let us proceed further. Banks charge a higher rate of interest on the loans given. Just for the sake of your understanding, I am giving you an example. This is an imaginary case, but it will give you a rough idea. Suppose the bank has 1 lakh rupees as deposits. Take out 15% from it, that is 15,000 rupees. The rest is given as loan. The interest charged is say 10%. So the lender will return the principal amount plus the interest. So how much the bank will earn as interest? 8,500 rupees. Out of this, the bank pays say 3% to the depositor as interest. So 3% of 1 lakh is 3,000 rupees. Still, the bank has a lot of money left. This leftover amount becomes the income of the bank. Thus, the difference between what is charged from the borrowers and what is paid to the depositors is the main source of income of the banks. So the depositors get interest whereas the borrowers pay the interest. I hope you have got an idea about the loan activities of banks. Now let us see another subtopic, 2 different credit situations. A large number of transactions in our day-to-day activities involve credit in some form or the other. What is credit? Look at page 53 and underline. Credit or loan refers to an agreement in which the lender supplies the borrower with money, goods or services in return for the promise of future payment. That means the person is buying the good or taking the service, but the payment of money will be made sometime later in the future. Let us see how the credit works. We will read 2 examples given in the book. The first is the example of Salim and the second one of Swapna. Salim is a shoe manufacturer. It is a festival season 2 months from now. Salim gets an order to make 3,000 pairs of shoes by a trader. He gets 1 month time to deliver the shoes. Time is less, so to complete his work on time, he has to hire a few workers for stitching and pasting work. He has to buy raw materials also. Now he needs money to meet his expenses. We have already read about the term working capital. Do you remember? So he goes to the leather supplier first. He asks the leather supplier to supply leather now and promises to pay him later. Then he goes to the trader who gave him the order. He asks him to pay for 1,000 pair of shoes as advance payment, which he gets easily. So now he has both the raw material and the working capital with him. He starts working and is able to deliver the order by the end of the month. Salim earns a good profit. He pays the money to the leather supplier. So what is the role of credit here? Credit here has helped him to meet the ongoing expenses of production, complete production on time, and thus increase his earnings. Let us see the second case. Swapna's problem. Swapna is a small farmer. She has 3 acres of land. She grows groundnut there. Normally, she takes loan from the money lender to meet the expenses of cultivation. Unfortunately, her crop is hit by the pests. Though she sprays costly pesticides on her crops, she could not save them. Crops fail. The result is that she is not able to repay the money lender, and the debt grows over the year into a large amount. Then comes the next year. She takes a fresh loan for cultivation. This time the crop is normal, but the earning is not good enough to cover the old loan. She is caught in a debt. She has to sell a part of her land to repay the loan. So what is the role of credit here? Instead of helping Swapna to improve her conditions, it made the conditions worse for her. This condition is called debt trap. Debt traps are circumstances in which it is difficult or impossible for a borrower to pay back money that they have borrowed. If you compare the case of Salim and Swapna here, you will find that 1. Credit has helped Salim to increase his earnings and therefore he is better off than before. So credit plays a positive role here. Second, in the case of Swapna, because of crop failure, credit pushes her into a debt trap. So credit plays a negative role here. So whether credit is going to be useful or not depends on the risk in the situation. What is risk in the case of Salim? Nothing. If he gets such orders regularly, he would accumulate sufficient amount of money with himself and maybe he would not require to borrow any more. In contrast, if you see in agriculture, there are risk factors. Natural factors like floods, drought or hailstorms may adversely affect the output. Besides, the farmers have to save them from pests and insects. Pesticides and insecticides are additional expensive inputs in crop production. With this, we will finish the topic of the day. Let us see the probable questions from this topic. Question number 1. What is credit? Question number 2. Credit plays a positive role. Justify the statement with arguments. Or credit can play a negative role. Justify the statement with arguments. This question was asked in 2019. That means you must know both the cases of Salim and Swapna when you have to explain the positive role, you can quote the story of Salim, and when you have to write the negative role, you have to quote the story of Sapna. In the next class, we will see the terms of credit and variety of credit arrangements. Till then, keep reading and have a nice time. Thank you.